Are non-government organizations with a extremist political philosophy getting your tax dollars in the state of Illinois? An indication seems to point that way, with legislators and other groups taking a look at Illinois tax dollars and where those are going. And joining us now to talk more about that is Jeanne Ives from Breakthrough Ideas, former state legislator, also a former Republican gubernatorial candidate in a primary. Representative, you guys have tackled a lot with Doge, Illinois. Tell us, this week, Representative Adam Niemerg re-elevated the issue of a group getting state tax dollars, and he says that they're working to actively impede ICE. Is this group, Workers United Center, are they the only group that's getting this level of money from state taxpayers?
Oh, no, not at all. There's a number of politically activist groups that are considered nonprofits, and they say that they provide particular services to their community, but actually they really are. They're the instigators for all of your No Kings marches, your Take Down Tesla, your Hands Off Chicago. All those marches come from these activist groups. They generate the people to show up, and they're getting paid lots of money from the taxpayers of Illinois to do so.
So what should legislators do here, right? I mean, because we're in the beginning of the budget process. Should they be combing through the budget more to make sure that these non-government organizations are actually doing work to help those who fall through the cracks versus going out and conducting politics?
Well, it's interesting because right now they're already talking about there being possibly a $2.2 billion deficit in the upcoming budget. And of course, they are immediately saying we need a millionaire's tax. No, actually, we just need to cut spending. And the best way that they can cut spending with actually not harming any of the core programs that citizens require or actually rely on, like infrastructure, education, all that, is they can look at the nonprofits that they are funding. And last year, our group put out all those nonprofits at our dogeil.com website, and we put all the grants in there from FY 2025, and now we have the grants in there from FY 2026. So people can peruse this entire list of nonprofits. I mean, there's thousands of nonprofits receiving literally over billions of dollars to do particular services, but actually they are politically active groups instead. I'd like to highlight another one, which I have always had a problem with, and that's the Illinois Coalition for Immigrant and Refugee Rights. Now, this organization gets over $42 million from state taxpayers, but literally you will see ICIRR on all the protest signs at all the protests that you see in Chicagoland. So instead of actually doing what they're supposed to be doing, which is quote unquote welcoming centers, immigrant support, which I disagree with, we should be funding also. They are actually just doing political activity to thwart ICE activity in the state of Illinois. This organization's particularly should be investigated for what they are spending the money on. Again, one of the other problems with these nonprofits is that you can't FOIA them. There's no Open Meetings Acts, and yet the majority of their money is coming from state taxpayers with zero accountability. And so I think legislators really need to hone in on this, ask questions, and get to the bottom of where this money is going. Because ICIRR, I mean, actually last January, they were one of the groups to sue the Trump administration over raids targeting the sanctuary movement. This is what they are politically involved in. It is not actually delivering services. And, if I could just say one more thing here about this, like one of the things that they are involved in is welcoming centers. Well, that is a grant line that has grown enormously under Governor Pritzker. And we're spending upwards of $25 million just on welcoming centers in 2015 fiscal year. We were only spending about $1.1 million on welcoming centers. So this grant line has grown substantially under Governor Pritzker. Why? Because it is a political organization. It's a way for him to get out the vote. And I say that unabashedly, and I know that that's the truth.
Jeannie, when we talked with the Assistant Secretary of Health and Human Services about the federal funding freeze for TANF and for child care programs, I mean, they said that they suspect there's some kind of unofficial patronage system going on here. You've been in politics. You now are outside watching, and tell us a bit about that idea of the kind of unofficial patronage that there allegedly is going on, not just possibly in Illinois, but elsewhere throughout the country.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think Minneapolis opened up a can of worms, and now every single state and certainly major cities need to be investigated for where their money is going and how they're padding their political activity, working through non-government organizations. I will say this: we even went so far as to start investigating some of these daycare sites, some of them that are state-funded daycare sites. I went to one particular state daycare, and I looked at their webpage, and it wasn't hard to understand that they are also a political entity, because under the resources area, they basically said, here's how you sign up to vote. And they had 3 different links to how you could become a voter in the state of Illinois. What does that have to do with providing daycare services in the state? No, these are definitely organizations that are there to up the vote for the Democrats and to provide political activity.
And we're talking with Jeanne Ives with Breakthrough Ideas and host of The Real Story with Jeanne Ives about your tax dollars in this beginning of budget season for fiscal year 2027. Obviously, Jeanne, with the possibility of federal funds being frozen, it's going to put a hindrance on the budget plan for the coming fiscal year to cover major resources and major programs. And the Pritzker administration and legislators are talking about a surcharge on millionaires. They'd have to amend the Constitution for that. Is there enough money, you think, in the budget to find the savings and, as they call, efficiencies or cuts? Is there enough of what you've seen in your going line by line, looking at NGOs, looking at other programs? Is there enough there to shore up the state's spending?
Absolutely. There's absolutely no reason to increase taxes in the state. There, again, if you go to our website, you just start to scroll through some of the nonprofits getting grants or the chambers of commerce getting grants, and they literally aren't doing anything. It's just going straight to their bottom line. You've got, Maddie's Mitten March, which I had highlighted before, getting a $320,000 grant for a new store. One other organization, it's called SWAP, Southwest Organizing Project. I think this is a total fraud, quite frankly. They're receiving, I think it's $40 million. They receive a lot of money for parent mentoring, another program that is now up to $20 million, where just a decade ago, we were only funding it at $1 million. This, you have to really, really try hard to find that there's any results for the money given. So this is all stuff that could easily be cut out of the budget without cutting core services. And that's what they need to do in this state first.
Jeanne, one other thing here when it comes to following the money, right? And that's ultimately what you're trying to do here, highlighting these grants and highlighting these budget lines. We don't get actual audits where auditors are able to determine exactly where that money's going, and in some instances having adverse audit opinions or qualified audit opinions that are both negative, saying they can't really track the money. We don't know about these things for 2.5 years. They're going to be putting together the budget for the coming fiscal year, and we don't even know what we spent in 2025 fiscal year.
Well, that's true. The state is always late on its audits. And even then, when you go to the Auditor General and you look at all their audit reports, nearly every single audit report from every agency shows that they are not doing their job correctly. Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, honestly, they should just be eliminated from the budget. There's no need for them to be giving out $500 million to the Chinese Communist EV battery plant Goshen. There's no need for them to be giving Rivian $827 million when they haven't produced profit on a single vehicle. And so that entire organization should just be eliminated. You could save a lot of money right there. But I mean, every audit from the DCEO, the most famous one being that, guess what? When we looked at the jobs that were supposed to be related to the CEJA or the energy bill from 2021, they never created the jobs that they were told to create for over 3 years. So yes, we have a problem. actually, you have legislators propose all these like feel good projects, and then there's no follow up. The money goes out. It's just run through a bunch of nonprofits or other programs with no accountability. And that's the problem in the state of Illinois. We need to really tighten the ship when it comes to that.
Well, Jeannie, we'll definitely be talking about this as the weeks and months progress, because budget season is going to come at us quicker than we know it, with all kinds of hearings, but we won't really know those fine details on all of these line items until, I don't know, you've been there before as well, estimating what it's going to be early morning hours of, May 31st into to June 1st. So we'll see what happens.
But, here, I will say this, Greg, just in closing, honestly, at least we have started the process of elevating the conversation, showing them that we've got billions of dollars going to nonprofits with no accountability. And at least we have some legislators, and I really appreciate them looking at these grant lines. We just need more people concerned about where their money goes, and they need to start doing this. I, highlighted a story about the Prairie Food Co-op in Lombard. That's a total scam as well. I mean, I could go on and on and on with one story after another about how they're wasting your money on nonprofits, groups that with no accountability are receiving money from the taxpayer.
Well, again, we'll talk more about this in the weeks and months ahead. Jeanne Ives, greatly appreciate you taking the time here with the Center Square.
Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. It is Illinois in Focus Daily, each and every weekday morning with you. I'm Greg Bishop. Be sure to wake up and get the headlines in your inbox at thecentersquare.com, where you can not just get Illinois headlines, but also headlines from across the country. Again, go to thecentersquare.com. All right, much more coming up.